Hello students. So today we will start our next topic, which is Langevins theory of paramagnetism. So it's the theory about the paramagnetic substance, and as we know about the paramagnetic material, every atom or molecules of this atom possesses a net unbalanced magnetic moment, and the contribution towards the magnetic moment due to electronic spin and the orbital motion of electron do not cancel each other. So therefore these paramagnetic atom possesses net magnetic moment. However, this net magnetic moment is small, very small, okay, but they do not cancel exactly each other, okay. So they have very weak magnetism in this material. So to discuss about its theory, let us consider a dipole moment of magnetic moment Pm makes an angle theta with the direction of applied magnetic field B. Okay, this we can consider like this. Suppose we have applied magnetic field B in this direction, and we have dipole magnetic moment of any paramagnetic material in this direction, and the angle between these two is theta. So in this case, the potential energy possessed by this magnetic dipole will be this, which is this value. U is equal to this value, okay, which is this value, okay. U is equal to minus PMB cos theta. Now according to Boltzmann's classical statistics, for an assembly of particles, the number of particles having energy state W is proportional to exponential minus W by kT, where K is the Boltzmann constant and T is the absolute temperature. So let us consider, let there be n magnetic dipoles per unit volume of the substance. The substance which we have considered, there we have n number of magnetic dipoles per unit volume. In a unit volume there are n magnetic dipoles, okay. So now we'll calculate the number of dipoles lying between a range, say theta and theta plus d theta. See in this figure, okay. So we have considered an element angling at an angle theta with B, okay, and another element angled at theta plus d theta, okay. So now we want to calculate the number of magnetic dipoles which lies in this range where angle lies varies from theta to d theta. This we want to calculate, okay. So and for each magnetic dipoles lying in this region will be their potential energy will be U is equal to minus PMB cos of theta, okay. So this can be calculated. First we will calculate the solid angle subtended by this region, okay, between theta and theta plus d theta. So the solid angle will be this value, okay. The solid angle between these direction theta and theta plus d theta will be d omega will be twice 2 pi sin theta d theta, okay. And as we know, this dn number of particles will be proportional to the product of exponential minus w by kt and d omega. So therefore dn will be c into 2 pi sin theta d theta into exponential minus omega by kt, where c is the constant of proportionality, okay. Now just replace this w, energy state, energy, with the potential energy, which is minus pmb cos of theta, okay. If we substitute this value in this equation, okay, so equation will changes to dn will be this, c into 2 pi exponential pmb cos theta over kt dot sin theta d theta, okay. And this is the small number of element lying in the range theta to d theta. Now if you want to calculate, integrate this dn over all the values of theta, which varies from 0 to pi, so in that case this integral will be changes to the total number of magnetic dipoles will be equal to 0 to pi n theta d theta, okay. Now to calculate this, substitute the value of this dn or n theta from above equation, okay, in this integral 0 to pi n theta d theta, okay. So what we will get 2 pi c is a constant, it will be taken outside the integral, 0 to pi exponential pmb cos theta by kt dot sin theta d theta, okay. Where now substitute this value by another constant, say we define another element u which is equal to pmb by kt. In that case this integral will changes to 2 pi c 0 to pi exponential u cos theta dot sin theta d theta, where u is what? U is pmb by kt, Okay, so further simplify this and we'll get the value of C, the constant of proportionality C will be equal to n divided by 2 pi 0 to pi exponential u cos theta dot sin theta dot d theta. Okay, now substitute the value of C, this C which we have calculated, substitute this value of C in above equation where we have calculated that dn. Okay, or say in equation number 1. Okay, so by substituting that, what we will get, dn will become n eu cos theta dot sin theta d theta divided by 0 to pi integral of 0 to pi exponential u cos theta dot sin theta d theta. Okay, so this will be the number of magnetic dipoles lying between theta and d theta. And here we know each molecule will contribute a magnetic moment PMB cos theta. Okay, and this magnetic moment is parallel to the magnetic field because this is cos theta component. Therefore, the magnetic moment per unit volume in the direction of the magnetizing field due to all molecules or dipoles will be given by integral of this. Okay, if we multiply by total number of particle lying in that range theta to d theta with magnetic moment associated with that dipole, okay, that will give us the total number of magnetic dipole moment per unit volume, okay, which is I. Okay, which is I. So now substitute the value of that dn which we have calculated in this integral. So this value I will be simplified to this. I is equal to n pm dot 0 to pi exponential u cos theta dot sin theta dot d theta over 0 to pi exponential u cos theta dot sin theta d theta. Here we have noticed that the perpendicular component contributes zero magnetization. Okay, means if you remember what we have considered, this is the direction of applied field and this is the direction of magnetic moment Pm and this is the angle theta. So in that case this value will be Pm cos theta, the component along B will be Pm cos theta, but we do have a component which is perpendicular to B which is Pm cos theta, Pm sin theta. Okay, but these component for some other molecule they might be in the opposite direction, vertically downward direction. So the net resultant of these two will be always 0. Okay, so that's why only the cos component or the horizontal component which is along the magnetic field B, that will contribute toward the net magnetization of the substance. Okay, so there will be zero contribution due to the perpendicular component. Okay, so now we'll further solve this integral by considering say u cos theta. We have substituted u cos theta is equal to x, and by differentiating both sides this will become minus u sin theta d theta is equal to dx. Now by changing the limit, when theta was 0, in that case this x will become u. Theta is 0, cos 0 is 1, then x will be u. Similarly when theta is pi, x is equal to minus u. Okay, now substituting these things in the above integral or equation number 3, okay, our result will equation will get simplified, and by solving the integral, okay, now I'll come to the direct result. Okay, by solving the integral our final result will be this value, which is this I is equal to n pm cot hyperbolic u minus 1 by u, and this equation is known as the Langevin equation, where u is what? U is PMB divided by KT. Okay, or this can be written as this n pm into LU, where LU is this thing. LU is this thing, cot hyperbolic u minus 1 by u, or cot hyperbolic PMB over KT minus KT by PMB. Okay, this function is known as the Langevin function. Okay, very important function. Now we consider a special case of this function. Suppose we consider the temperature approaching to 0, means at very low temperature is low, and for very high value of B. In that case the term u, which is PMB by KT, it becomes very large. Okay, because B is large and T is small, so u will be very large in comparison to unity. So this term 1 by u, this will become 0, Okay, so within this limit, cot hyperbolic u will be u will be approximately will be equal to 1. Okay, and 1 by u is much less than 1. So in that case, I will be npm. Okay, or say it is I0. So this is the maximum value of magnetization called the saturation magnetization takes place after all the molecules dipoles have aligned parallel to the given magnetic field. Okay, when for any substance, if all the atoms or molecules they align themselves in the direction of the field, so in that case we say the saturation has been achieved or the maximum magnetization has been achieved. So we call it as I0. Okay, now further, the qualitative variation of the magnetization I with the term u is shown in figure below. Okay, now if we want to plot this Langevins function L of u versus u, okay, so this function will be like this. Okay, this is the saturation value as you see in this figure. Okay, this is the saturation value I0, means at very low temperature and very high field B, the magnetization will get saturated. Okay, and how function this behave. Okay, when we plot this LU Langevin function, which is cot hyperbolic u minus 1 by u, this function will vary like this as you seen in this diagram. Okay, it goes like this. Okay, and this is their maximum limit. So in that case, okay, now if we consider the qualitative variation of the magnetization I with the term u, that is like this we have seen. So at room temperature 300 Kelvin, okay, at 300 Kelvin and putting P is equal to Pm is equal to 9.3 10 to the minus 24 joule per Tesla, K is Boltzmann constant, and B is equal to 1 Tesla. Okay, so at these values, if you calculate the U, so that value will be 2.24 10 to the power minus 3, which shows that U is very small. Okay, U is very small. So for the low value of B and at high temperature, means now in the reverse case, this we have plotted for low temperature and high magnetic field. But now what case we are considering? We are considering the case of low value of B at high temperature. So in that case, U will be much less than 1. U will be much less than 1. So this cot hyperbolic function, which can be written as exponential of U plus exponential minus U by exponential U minus exponential minus U and minus 1 by U. Okay, this will complete the Langevin function. So if we solve this, okay, for this case, so ultimately what we will get this term equivalent to U by 3, which means PMB by 3 kT. Okay, and this is the practical thing actually. Okay, to achieve very low temperature is impossible, and also to have very high magnetic field, that is also a rare thing. Okay, but in general we'll have high temperature and low magnetic field. Okay, therefore the for small value of U, okay, small value of U, the intensity of magnetization will be this. I will be this npm, okay, into this value U by 3, which is PMB by 3 kT. So this value will become npm into PMB by 3 kT. Okay, now if we substitute B is equal to mu 0 h, then this will become I is equal to mu 0 npm square h by 3 kT. So for the small value of U, I is quite small and than that of B. Okay, I is, for small value of U, the value of I is quite small than that of B. Under these conditions, the susceptibility of paramagnetic substance is given by susceptibility, we know it is I by H, intensity of magnetization by magnetizing field. So I will be or H will be B by mu 0. So this will be I mu 0 by B. So now substitute the value of I from above equation. Okay, so we'll get chi m will be mu 0 n pm square by 3 kT. Also, it can be written as 1 by T into n pm square mu 0 by 3k. Okay, and all these things, n number of atoms per unit volume, pm square the dipole moment, mu 0 is a also constant, k is Boltzmann constant. So all these things can be taken equivalent to C. Okay, and what we have observed, the magnetic susceptibility for a paramagnetic material is reciprocal to 1 by T. Okay, and the constant C is known as the Curie's constant. Okay, so it is clear that the susceptibility of paramagnetic substance under normal condition is inversely proportional to absolute temperature. Normal condition means at high temperature and low value of B. Okay, and this law is called Curie's law. The reason in which the Curie law is obeyed has been shown in the above figure by the dotted linear portion. Okay, in this figure, the reason up to which this dotted line, because this is inversely proportional to temperature. With increase in temperature, so this line goes like this. Okay, the reason in which Curie law is obeyed has been shown in this figure. Okay, the Curie law has found a wide experimental support for a large number of substances over a wide range of temperature. Okay, so this is what about the theory of paramagnetism. So we have calculated the magnetic susceptibility for a paramagnetic material which found to be temperature dependent. With increase of temperature, chi-m decreases. Okay. Now we have left with one article which is about the theory of ferromagnetism, and the theory of ferromagnetism is also known as domain theory of ferromagnetism, that we will discuss in our next lecture. Thank you.